All right, all right, all right.
Hey,
Hey, if you did not know, now you know. This is Uncle B. And
and see
we are in the house with another segment, provocative conversation. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get
for
some
that ass.
yeah. There's gonna be some things that people weren't ready for. They weren't ready. Ready. Yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about what do men really think about women's looks and hair. Uh
mm.
yeah. Because this is something that people sort of dance around a
Ain't
lot.
nobody dancing around. Or okay, wait a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are still kind of dancing around it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they don't dance no more.
but
Yeah.
they starting to come out. Anyway, go ahead.
hmm Yeah, just a reminder, yo, this is Uncle B and Fee. We go live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have that no chaser, no filter, just grown folks talking about those grown folks conversations, all uncomfortable and such that must be had. You can join us in the conversation by clicking on the link in the chat box. That'll be there in a second. And you can get on camera with us or not.
Come on, y'all. We want to talk to you.
Hit us in the chat
Come
room with your
on.
questions. Hit that like button so we can get more people to join in these deep dives into these conversations and everything like that. Fee, how you doing this week? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm just excited because I mean, we still early with the shows right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to be doing this topic
Mm.
because whew,
Because
I'm seeing some cartoon characters out here, and
mm.
I feel like it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's like you don't really hear. I don't think too many women talking about it. So yeah,
Mm.
we're gonna definitely have some things that we need to discuss, ladies.
Hmm. So what I want to do right now, right quick, is just sort of set the table. So we have a little backdrop on this, and just my quick thoughts on it, and then we can sort of dive into it. So when we're talking about what do men really think about women's look and their hair, let's before we talk about the symptoms, is like what's like you just said, that clown look, all types of craziness going on. That's, to me, that's a symptom. But let's take a look at the root cause. And it's really that, as I said before, women require attention, men require encouragement. And when we break down the word attention, you have that word attend in there. And it's like, women want a man to attend to them because women can be at the healthiest state a human can be while being at the weakest, most vulnerable, which is pregnancy. And so this shows up everywhere in the world. There's been women with flowers in their hair. They got to be wearing painful shoes just so the hips can undulate. You know,
Undulate,
hmm
undulation, baby.
here's even the craziest thing. Even the butchest of women will give some indication that they're feminine. They got the hard rock look and everything. Then they got some pink Timberlands
No,
on.
you're gonna have to break that one down because there's three different types of butches. There's the femme,
Mm-hmm.
there's the dyke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, am I saying this right? No, stud. There's the
Uh-huh.
butch, the stud, and the femme. The butch is trying to be as manly as possible. She
Yeah.
don't want nothing feminine going on with her.
But here's the thing. Even the most, and
Yeah.
I know some butchers, even the most hardcore of the butchers still have an indication of their femininity. And there's that's a safety word. That's a safe code because they don't want to get mistaken for a male and get into a fight with a male. They can be hard rock all you want to, but
And in what situation? Like I'm curious about this one because all the butchers that I've ever known and been around,
Mhm.
they be straight dudes.
Mhm.
Like, what's
And
up?
they always got to tell though. They always got to tell because it's like when it comes down to it, there's a whole room full of dudes, and then something break out, and it's like, well, okay, off rip, unless something different is going on, you are the weakest one in the room.
That don't mean they
So,
think that.
oh yeah, they may not think
They
that,
be like,
but
"What's up? What's up?" I
yeah,
done seen plenty of videos with them butch ones. They be like, "What's up?" They
yeah.
might get knocked out, but
There we
I'm not
go.
saying. But that doesn't mean that they were not trying to be the most masculine in the room.
Yeah, but there's still that thing of like, if you've been into a fight with a person that's just physically dominant over you, you're not going to go back into that situation. So it's like, hey, there's that tail. I'm just saying, it's not for every. I haven't done a scientific study. I'm just saying what I've observed. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, it's like there's that little piece that they have right there.
Well,
All
we just
women just
agree to disagree on that one because
okay.
when I see them, they be like on some real
Yeah, yeah.
manly man,
They look
whatever.
like men, and I can always tell they not. I
No,
just
I'm not
always a
saying
tell.
physically you can tell,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
like their
There's
mentality is like they
I'm
are
a
ready to fight you. I mean, even women now, just regular women are ready to fight men.
yeah, but
So
and those are the ones who haven't had their asses handed to them. If you haven't been physically dominated, you think that it's like the movies all the way until you take that first punch, and then it's like,
I
oh
agree.
shit, yeah, there we go.
I
So
agree.
here's my contention. My contention is communications is gone where women are telling men what they should find attractive instead of checking with the guys. And then you say, women checking with guys. They're like, I don't need to check with no man to, yeah, okay. Um, and, they'll spend a lot of money at the hairdresser and, won't go to the gym. And so you have a result of women who are unknowingly becoming unattractive to men because they're not having that conversation. So that's why we're having this conversation. Um, and so, we do need to
So
separate. We need to separate one thing out though. There are the men who don't care, just don't care what you look like. If you had a fishbowl on your head, they'd be trying to fuck you. They don't care at all. You have
those are also the guys that don't really offer anything at all.
mhm,
Because a man that has something to offer, he's gonna give not just 2 cents. He's gonna give all his cents.
yeah. So you want for men who want a woman men who want a woman who cares about being attracted to him and representing him in public. So that's I think that's something that to me that's the conversation we need to have for I can only represent those guys because I actually care. So
Yeah,
uh
but we got to consider everything because when we're talking about stuff like women and how they look and the motivation behind how they look, we're not just talking about, them trying to appeal to, well, they may want to appeal to the 2% of men or, a small percentage of men that are actually doing well. But a lot of women will still take whatever they can get that makes them feel good. So when I say that, for instance, there may be a woman that feels like, oh yeah, I would love to date somebody that's like a, let's say, six-figure earner and higher, but she knows that she's going to have to do a lot of work to change how she looks, to change how she approaches or her interactions with men. She's going to have to change some things, and that might be a little intimidating. So she will go ahead and deal with the man who has nothing to offer. So this actually widens the pool of men feeling like, hey, well, I don't have to do anything because I know I'm going to get some anyway, regardless, because there's plenty of women out here who don't really want to change themselves for, not that he's thinking that consciously that she don't want to change herself for a better man, but he's just, he just sees what's available to him.
mhm.
So that has to be taken into consideration. A woman who specifically wants a man that is a high earner or a high value man or however you want to term it, a woman who wants that type of man is not she's not against, and she's more than willing to do things to herself to make herself more appealing to that type of guy.
Okay. I mean, I think for the sake of this conversation, we need to delineate one more level because a
What?
lot of we're talking about high value, and that's a different thought process altogether. The vast majority of men um, aren't high value, so the vast majority of
Right.
women aren't going to get a high value man because just numbers. And so you have guys who are still like myself. Of that 50% of black men who are single and childless, and 61% live in our middle class. So that's roughly 26% of men who are just sitting there like, okay, I'm ready to go. Hold up. What's going on? Why she got the bonnet on? Why she outside with her pajamas on? Why she got, she looked like she got roaches trying to come up out of out of her
So she
eyebrows.
got, no, those are spiders. Let's be
Spiders?
clear
Okay.
now.
Yes.
Those are tarantula eyes. I
Yeah.
think they're going to start making weaves for that now.
Oh my God. I mean, and it's like it's dramatic. I mean, and um I think a lot of times, sometimes the hairdressers. I mean, because there's an industry behind it. So you have hairdressers who are like, okay, well, come in and I have this special thing that I'm gonna do to your hair and blah blah blah. And to me, I'm just using myself. To me, what happened is, um, women will go out, go to the hairdresser, get something done, and they didn't check with their man or whoever, whatever, and they show up after they get it done. And they're like, "Hey," and it's like, "Hey." you know, the
Yeah.
guys are a little bit more. It's like, well, okay, it's already done, so that's gets into that communication side of being honest
Well,
in your
and that's what I
communication.
was gonna say. The thing is, when it comes to that, a lot of women feel like they don't have to communicate to a man about something that they're going to do to their physical appearance. Now, okay,
Mhm.
there is sense to be made out of that on one hand, that if I feel beautiful doing X, then why am I going to, have a conversation with you about wanting to do X? But then again, on the flip side, this man met you a certain way. And if you're doing something that's drastic, and not only that, if you just have like, you know, human decency with, I mean, you're with somebody, like you have to regard that person's feelings and make him feel included in any decision making. That's going to be something that would be kind of, I guess it could be major to some guys it's not. And I actually saw an episode of this one time on the show Married, what was it? Married at First Sight,
Mhm.
where a guy asked they were asking the therapists were asking a couple, um one of the couples, the women said, I'm not going to talk to my husband before I decide to change. If I want to cut my hair and go bald, I'm just going to do it. She was like, why
Mm.
do I need to ask you if I want to be bald headed? If that makes me feel good, you should just support me. Now, I understand where she was coming from when she said it, but I also understood the husband's point where he was just kind of like, yeah, but I like how you look right now. So if you do that and that's drastic, you're going to still expect me to be attracted to you and like you with this new look. And he was like, at least give me an opportunity to have some type of an input. So I think that a lot of times, and I'm one of those people that I always see both sides of the equation. So I just think that, with everything, communication just needs to be in place for all of that, like anything that's drastic. But we're
Mm.
talking about, well, we haven't talked about this, well, so I'm just throw it out there.
Okay.
Women that are wearing rainbow colored hair and
Mhm.
are wearing bat wings for eyelashes, um, and that put on Muppet outfits
Mhm.
and, get their asses pumped it up.
Right.
Like,
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
mm, mm.
When women do stuff like that, you wouldn't really typically think those are not necessarily the type of women that would probably ask her man beforehand, hey, I mean, I could see certain things maybe like, I guess the ass, maybe, but
You want to surprise somebody with a big ass coming home? It's like, what the hell? Is
I
that
saw
real? Is that
somebody
real?
do that on YouTube too,
Oh
actually.
Lord.
The girl, she did something like that to her man and he got mad. They got in the fight. And then in the end, of course, she revealed that she was just playing and took the shit out her ass. But anyway,
Wow.
but but no, I mean, I definitely understand a man's perspective on that. But like I said, I think that it should be communication. But here's the thing, a lot of women that do that are probably actually even single women. Because when
Mm.
women are putting their costumes on, they're doing that so they can attract the attention of men. Because once they got the attention of a man, not saying that they take their costumes off, but
Mm.
I mean, I don't think they'll be wearing it as hardcore as they do beforehand. Because they like, I got them now.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I mean, I guess that's the question though, because it's like, once again, if they go into the hairdresser and the hairdresser is making has a financial incentive to make you want to do something extreme, not even extreme, but just oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, and it's like, well, okay, if the hairdresser hasn't had a conversation with a man about whether or not the man likes his style, period. Men in general are into this style. And then the woman is going there listening to the hairdresser and not having a conversation with men about this style, period. Then it's like she comes out. Is she more attractive to men or is she just more attractive to her hairdresser's wallet? That's the
Well,
part
here's the
that
thing, women are vain. I mean,
catch the pearls.
but it's like you said, or we talked about this in the other show or whatever. Men. with men, the more money you have, the more attractive you become. With women, we just physically got to be attractive.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that that's it, but I'm just saying, like, when you just get down to the nuts and bolts of it, a man with money will, hands down, he'll deal with a woman, or he'll talk to a woman who's very attractive, even if she doesn't have money. Just like the woman will deal with a guy that's kind of ugly if he got money. So
Mhm.
that's just the nuts and bolts of it. But I guess the place that I'm going with all this is that women are always trying to look beautiful for a man. And but they do also do things to compete with one another.
Mm.
So here's
Mm.
something that I've noticed in particular. And I'm gonna bring up, since DC, since I was out there
Okay.
for
Okay.
ever before I moved,
Mhm.
I'm gonna just say this. I feel like, and not just there, I feel like in cities where there is a high population of women compared to men, that
Mm.
the clownism is on 10.
The clown is
The
okay.
clownism is on 10. And here's why I say that.
Mhm.
Because when you're in an environment where you're competing for attention amongst a lot of women, you
Mhm.
have to try to stand out. So, like,
Okay.
let's say, for instance, the way I look right now, I mean, there's nothing really spectacular looking. But if I'm trying to compete against 100 women, I'm not saying I would do this because I don't care. I'm not that type of woman. I'm like, hey, you going to like me or not. But
Mhm.
if I wanted to compete a bunch of other women and I was like that, I might put some colors in my hair because I'm going to have a peacock effect. I need to have sparkles and colors in my hair. I
Sparkle.
need all kind of sparkles all
The
over my
glitter.
face.
Mhm.
Yes, I need to be able to stand out because I want that man to notice me.
Looking like a
And
disco ball. That's what's going on.
I mean, it is what it is. Even
Mm.
though I feel like being irrational is something that can happen to men and women both. I do think that
Mhm.
sometimes women are a little bit more irrational with that type of stuff and they get caught up in that clown behavior and they start going overboard because they see another woman that is their competition and they're like, oh, so she got, her hair is yellow. I'm gonna make mine green, you know, and it becomes like it's kind of like what men do too. Like a
Mm.
man, like let's just say a man will do this with their car. A man
Yep.
may have a nice car and then he'll be like, okay, let me come through with a car. Like, let's say it's an old school. He may come through with an old school that is like, I don't know. One is sitting on 22s. The next guy come by sitting on 40s. I don't even know if 40s exist, but I'm saying their
Yep.
rides get way more ridiculous. This one says, "Oh, I'm about to get Cheetos spray painted on my car."
Yep.
So now their car is becoming way more ridiculous because that is a measure of
Mhm.
success to them. And so the measure of success for the women is the Cheetos is on her face instead. The 40s are on her face. I said the 40s, they're on her face or
Right.
they're on her ass. And then
Mhm.
if you notice too, like this whole thing with the fans only and
Mm.
Instagram
Mhm.
models and all this other stuff, these things are also influencing women and they're
Mhm.
influencing them to either make money to get they're influencing them because they see the money they're making, they also see the attention these women are getting. So what do you do if your ass is big and your tits are big? You get a bigger ass and bigger tits.
Mm.
I know
Yeah.
you've seen those bubbles. It looks like women nowadays are starting to look like balloons
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
like a string in the middle for a waist. I don't even know how they have these type of bodies.
Oh,
Like
they
I
got
don't even know how they
waist
create.
trainers. They got waist trainers.
Well, I know
Yeah.
about the waist trainer,
Mm.
but I feel like some of them look like it's beyond waist training.
Oh. Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, maybe they're wearing like 5 of them. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean that is actually not new. That happened back in the day. With the what's that the corsets. Yeah, the corsets.
Yeah. I
They were
mean, that's
you can reshape the human body by
what we're
tightening it
talking
up.
about today. Let's
Yeah.
not
Mm.
compare to back in the day. I don't think that I don't know if they actually look like that, but I mean what you're saying is it's true, but I haven't actually seen a live version of that.
Oh.
I guess that exaggerated Jessica Rabbit look
Mhm.
until now
Yeah.
that things
Yeah,
have
yeah.
become
Because
ridiculous.
every time, people just notice that it's, "Oh, yeah, that's unhealthy." So it goes out of vogue. So yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just to me, it's just it's here's one other thing that I heard a story from my guys in Georgia, where there's a large population of women compared to men, and they went to this conference, and it was some women on stage, and they had all of them had jobs done, tit jobs, ass jobs, all this
Mhm.
other kind of stuff, and it was like they were on stage, and it was like a bitch fest, blaming men for them getting this work done,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it was
It
like
is your fault.
well, here's the thing about blame. A person can accept it or not accept it. And so they didn't accept it and they just got up and left. But it was
Who, the
like,
guys?
yeah, the guys who were there, they were like, this doesn't make any sense because it's like it's not like you came and asked me whether or not, that makes a difference. You're going with the assumption because of what the influence, rap videos and things like that. And it's like I was talking to somebody the other day about that about rap videos and stuff like that. And it's like with rap videos, a lot of times you have to think the artists aren't necessarily picking out the people who are in the shoot. The record label is. That they have a whole the record label will come in and have the actual artists change up. It's like, oh no, you can't wear that. That's too street. Let's have you wear a suit and a top hat. I mean, there's been many a story of guys who went for a rap video shoot and all of a sudden they had to change their clothes and look different and they just hated it. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But when it comes to the women that are on there, that's a casting call. That's completely out of they don't know who these women are until they show up. A lot of times these women can be white, they can be, have the huge ass, they can, just and
Well,
so
let's consider something here.
mhm,
Those same women, the same exact women you're talking about that are getting casted, who
mhm.
do you see these rappers eventually end up dating that look like them?
Okay.
So my point is,
Mhm.
these guys probably initially, and I think that this is the case with a lot of people, these guys, they start off, a lot of people, especially like in the hood, you growing up in the hood, you got low self-esteem, you kind of just take whatever's in front of you. But once these guys start seeing that, wow, I'm getting attention, because it's like the girls are on the shoot, and I'm familiar with that whole process of what I mean, not the whole process, but
Mhm.
I've been on a couple shoots, not like that, but anyway,
You
the
telling on yourself?
girls, like a whole lot of stuff I could tell you, but anyway,
Mm.
the girls on those shoots are still, they're talking to those guys because a lot of times they have their own personal agendas anyway.
Mhm.
They're not just on there just to be in a video. They are, but their agenda is also, maybe they can meet this guy and get with him,
Mhm.
get some money, whatever. And so the guy, he kind of feels like, wow, I can get this type of chick.
Mhm.
So this is all I'm going to go for now. So now
Mm.
forget what I used to go for. I'm going for this new shit because this is exciting to me.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that translates and sends a message to other girls, especially little black girls. I hate to say it, but we don't necessarily come up with like the highest of self esteem because, not only do you not always necessarily hear it at home, but you don't hear it in society.
Mhm.
So if you don't hear it, you don't, I mean, especially the ones who don't have a man in their life, whether they don't have a father or a grandfather telling them, maybe an uncle, if nobody's telling them they're beautiful or they're
Mhm.
smart or talented or whatever, they're not hearing it at home. They go out into society, they just some little, hoodlum chick just roaming around. So the thing is, these women are just trying to become accepted, and that's what most people want, is just acceptance. I mean, men and women both want
Mhm.
acceptance, but it's just that unfortunately some people choose a toxic way to go about getting that acceptance, and a
Mhm.
lot of times that acceptance turns into, or it can turn that person into something, you know different. So that person might be more prone and vulnerable to doing something like inflating their ass to, like,
Yeah.
100 inches,
Yeah.
or putting like a weave on top of their eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? Or with whatever other Muppet outfit they wear.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, once again, I think it's good that we're having this conversation and hoping as many people as possible get this conversation because it still comes down to, all right, what is the purpose of you doing that? If the purpose of you doing that is to get with a guy, it's like, do you want attention from a whole lot of guys, or you want attention from one guy? And at the end of the day, it's billions of humans on this planet, and you're supposed to get one. So it's really a matter of, like, is this person going to actually see you, or are they seeing, your hairdresser or the rap videos or someone else's version of you? And, it's like they can't see you clearly, because, there are many times, as you mentioned, you see the specific rappers, or, people high up athletes and everything like that. Yes, you're going to get all these women coming at you, and it's like, oh, I can start picking. That's very unusual. So unless you're a woman at that level, or you're seeking that level where you do have to compete at a high level, because there are a whole bunch of uh, women coming at this particular man, it's like, well, okay, for the average or ordinary woman, if you're trying to get with a man, it's like, to me, it's more important that like you said, be yourself, so that you can when the person finally does meet you, it's like, was it the or not Living Single, forgot the name, Living Color. They had this skit with the moo cow arm, where it was like, the woman was, you go to the club, get drunk and everything, you wake up, you look over at her, and it's like, oh my god, she's nothing like I thought, and you can detach your arm. So
Wait a
she's,
minute. Are you talking about I'm gonna get you, sucker?
was that in there? Okay, yeah.
You talking about Nadine from What's Happening, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Not that particular skit, but I remember that one too, where she, like, took off her
Yeah,
ass,
she
took
was
off her
like,
leg.
this
Yep,
isn't even
tick,
my eyes.
yep.
And she just started taking,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
won't get it unless you're 40 plus.
yeah. So, I mean, so yeah, you know, if you're not you when it's time for you to show up, then this other person is just going to be confused. It's like, oh, okay, I thought you you were like this, but you're not like this at all, or you're projecting a specific image that's not like you at all. So
Now,
it
let
gets
me ask you
confusing.
something.
Hmm.
So, I have asked different male friends of mine this question because I've asked them about like, I asked them like character versus looks. I have found that as guys get older, the
Hmm.
looks are starting to count a lot more. Like meaning that they want someone that's a lot more natural.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
the question that I usually ask is, well, actually, there's a lot of them, but here's one:
This is true.
would you? Oh yeah, you would know, right? That's what I do. But
Hmm.
would you feel comfortable telling a woman, like, okay, first of all, do you think that women really need to hear from you, like I'm saying from a man? Do you
Hmm.
think that they need to hear from you when they're in a relationship, as far as like their looks, their natural looks goes? Like that, I guess that's the first thing. Do you think that it's important for you to voice your opinion about how she looks, or do you feel like, let me shy away from that because that's too sensitive of a topic?
I can understand both sides of it, in terms of, like, it is a sensitive topic. But at the same time, it's like, if you're actually looking to be with this person long term, you need to, you know, yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole thing about a relationship. In a good, pure relationship, you have that level of communications anyway, and you already know that, especially for men, and because we communicate less, we use less words. So we say something, it was like, oh my god, Pandora's box, she's coming at me with blah 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 blah, blah. It's like, we're going to spend all night talking about this particular subject. I was just saying, could you do this? And she was like, no, so there's that part right there, that's sort of like, guys are afraid of doing that, opening Pandora's box. But at the same time, if we have a good relationship, you should be able to communicate. It's like, yeah, I like you when you wear this, I like you when you do this. And, if the person appreciates your opinion, it's like, because the question is, at the end of the day, if she's with you, who is she dressing for? So,
But do you feel comfortable enough if, let's say, you're dating someone
mhm,
and this person that you're dating is showing great potential
mhm,
as like somebody that you could see yourself with down the line.
Mhm.
Do you feel comfortable enough addressing her? Let's say she wears like a wig sometimes, or maybe like, let's say like 90 to 95% of the time she's wearing fake hair.
Okay.
But she tells you, "Oh, I got my natural hair too. It's just underneath this wig. It's protective." Do you feel comfortable letting her know that you don't need to wear this?
Uh,
Wear your natural hair?
yeah, I think if we're going in the right direction, yeah. Because if
Like at what
it's
point?
I mean, depends, where you are. It's like, it could be a few dates in, it could be a month or two. I mean, it depends on when if she looked one way and she changed it to another way, then it's like, well,
Mhm,
okay. At that point, if you're early on in a relationship, they'd be like, well, okay, let me figure out, is she going to go back? Is she going to, what is this? Does this happen all the time? Or, if it's later on in a relationship, it's like, oh, hey, man, you changed up on me. Why'd you do that? I like the way you were, back then. It's an easier conversation once you know the person a little bit better. Because, it's that whole thing of like, I don't want to reject this person. I don't want them to,
mhm,
think that I'm rejecting them. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't like that. And, if you keep coming around with that and I'm not telling you that I don't like it,
mm,
at some point it's going to show up in another part of the relationship where it's like, you do something else that it's like, well, she does this and she does that. Strike two, and you're just waiting for strike three. So it's like the relationship is not going in the right direction. So, I mean, yeah, it's all about being comfortable. You should be comfortable enough to
Well, answer
have that
this
conversation.
for me.
Hmm.
Why is it that something that I noticed, um, again, with a lot of my guy friends, they're always condemning everything fake. Like, I
Hmm.
think if women knew just how much men hate everything that is fake, I feel like there could be some type of change
Hmm.
or transition, at least like from super fake to maybe just a little bit fake,
Hmm.
to natural later once they learn to just kind of be okay with themselves. But why is it that so many men are so against everything, but they never tell women?
Well, just I would say this: at some point, they probably did, and there was such a backlash that we were like, "Oh well." It
No,
because
that's not true though, because a lot of guys I've talked to, they tell me they just don't. They
oh,
won't tell her anything. But
because I
I
mean,
don't think that they necessarily look at the woman as somebody, like they're just trying to get to know her and see if that is somebody that they might want to
mhm.
get to know. I mean,
Because
be with.
I mean, you're talking about changing something that is on a cultural level. So, for example, I don't like, I don't like black women with white man hair. I like natural
Fake
hair.
hair. He
Yeah,
means fake hair, y'all.
yeah. Permanent press, temporaries, whatever you want to call it. I like women with their own natural hair, but I do understand from a financial standpoint. There was a time when obviously you needed to have this hair in order to get certain jobs. We're coming out of that. There was also a time where it's like, especially with older black men, maybe because they wanted their woman to get a job or just be safe or something like that. It was like, oh yeah, I like a woman with the straight hair, blah blah blah. And probably in their youth, they were like Al Sharpton or James Brown. They had the hair straightened themselves. But it's like now we're at this point where it's like, okay, can we stop with doing that? Because hey, if you go to your job and they fire you because you have your own natural hair, you shouldn't be working there. Please feel free to sue them, get all the money you can, and get out. So, I mean, I understand there's reasons, and it's like, oh, going to the hairdresser, there's a whole process, and you have older women who are saying, oh, you got natural hair, what's wrong with you? Blah blah. It's a lot. So, but at the same time, it's like, there are a ton of guys. I mean, quick story. When I was
Uh-oh. Hello? Front row. I can't hear you still.
there,
Oh,
hello,
okay, there you go.
you hear me now?
Yep. Quick
I can't
story.
hear you.
You can't hear me? Oh
Technology,
no.
technology.
I
Hold on one second.
know.
I was gonna get into it.
I know
Hmm.
you can still
Okay.
do it.
Okay. And why can't I hear you, Fee? Say
You
something.
can't hear me still?
Hmm.
Hello. Microphone check, 1, 2, 1,
Ah,
2. I said microphone
keep
check,
rapping, keep
1, 2,
rapping.
1, 2. Hey, hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. I said microphone
Oh,
check,
wow.
1, 2, 1,
Hold on a
2.
second.
Hey, hey, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Gotta do
Hey,
something
1,
here.
2, 1, 2. Hey,
Hey, Fee, double
1,
check your
2, 1, 2.
are you on check your mute button? Are you on?
Microphone check.
Mhm.
Microphone
Mhm.
check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Microphone check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hey.
Throw
Wait,
your
the
hands in the
host has
air.
unmuted your
Look
mic.
like you just don't care.
You just unmuted
I
my
don't know
mic?
what happened here.
I don't either. What
All
the
right.
hell, man? Stop playing.
Yeah. So let's do something right quick. Hey Fee, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Can you hear
hear
me?
you.
How'd you hear?
Yes,
Okay. You can hear me.
I can hear
All right.
you.
I'm going to let you out and just come on back in.
All right. You just want
Okay.
to let me go.
Hit, just hit that link. Just hit that link.
Uh, all right.
Thanks, Vance. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. We are working through that right now. Hopefully, Fee will come back on. Boom. I think I just heard something.
Hello?
There we go.
Yay!
Back in business. Back on the block. Okay.
Where Vance at?
Uh,
I
he
heard you say thanks, Vance.
he's in the chat room.
What's up, Vance?
There you
You in the chit chat.
go.
Too bad I can't see the chat.
Funny. Oh, okay. Yeah, my man in the
You'll have
chat
to
room.
put me in next time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll hook that up. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, for me it's yeah, you want to there
You
you go,
said
Vince.
quick story.
Yeah, quick story I was gonna say, all right, so when I was like 10 o'clock, when I was 10 years old, I saw my mother for the first time with her natural hair. So now I saw pictures of her when she was younger, when she got married, she had her hair. And then all through growing up, all the way up in 10 years old, she had permanent press. And then when I got to when I saw her for the first time with her own hair, the first thing that went through my mind at 10 is I don't have to like white women anymore. So
What?
is yeah,
The hell
because
that mean?
she was advertising white women. That's
Oh,
what it yeah, that's what that is. It's like, if you're
womp womp.
yeah,
So you're saying because
mhm.
she represented them now you already got a white woman that you can see.
Hmm? No, I'm saying once you went natural, I didn't have to like white women anymore because
Uh,
it was like, yeah, if you're sitting there advertising to me as a child that white people's hair is better than your mother's hair,
oh,
then it's like, okay, this is confusing. And I've talked to other guys who were like, yeah, that was confusing. Their
wait
mother.
a minute. Hold up.
Mhm,
Stop. Wait. Du-du-du-du-du-du-du. Um, so y'all were confused
mhm.
because of what? Because you saw it when you see your mother with straight hair, it made you feel like you should like white women?
Yeah,
What? How do you get that out of a woman straightening her hair?
she looks.
I'm very curious.
She looks. What is she imitating? A white woman.
But she still got black skin and her hair is not the
Her
same
hair is white.
kind of white.
I mean,
So how does
okay.
that translate
Hmm.
of all the things that are black about
That
her
is the one thing
speech
that you see
cadence
as
and
soon as you see her
dress.
face. You see her face. You see her hair.
So that one thing made you feel like, okay, I can date white women, or I should, or something.
Yeah, it was a subliminal. It was the first thing that I thought of. I had no idea.
And other guys felt that way too.
Yeah, of course.
Are you serious? I
I
have
mean,
never heard this ever in life. I'm
yeah.
not saying it doesn't make sense, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying
Mhm.
it just sounds so odd to me because I've never heard a guy equate that with, okay, it's cool to like white girls because my mom's got white hair or straight hair.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, there is a separation if you're going to have your mother is looking different than you. It's like I said before with my sister, saying that when she was young, saying that her hair was different than mine. It's like, well, yeah, she got it perm, but we came out the same sack and coochie. So we have the same hair. I can perm my hair just like she can perm her hair, do everything she can do with her hair, I can do with my hair. But for women, it's like, hey, do this. And then so of course there's a separation. There's a thought process. So that's the reason why some women will say, well, I do stuff to my hair and he doesn't know what it is. And it's like, no, of course I know what it is.
I
Because
have heard those stories. I was very shocked when a friend of mine told me that this was years ago. She said that a friend of hers married a guy. They had been married for a number of years and he never saw her real hair. I was thinking to myself, if I was a dude, that would not have happened. I mean, at least see it. You know what I mean? But like, I'm just shocked that guys allow that. Like, really, I'm like,
I mean,
as
it's
much as I may have some feminist traits in me, I feel like if I was a dude, I probably would have the opposite. I'd be like, oh no. Mm-mm.
I mean, but once again, it's a huge cultural thing. It's a huge thing in terms of like if you have this type of hair, what it obviously it has an effect, especially if the boys don't know, they're not going to the hairdresser. It's like this just it's just there, and it's everywhere. It's like 98% of women, well, somewhere in the 90s, have around the world have white man hair, and it's like, well,
I
yeah, of
do
course it's
see
going to be
that
confusing.
well, not inspiring, but I do see that influencing young girls, but that's just because young girls emulate their mother. They
Mhm.
emulate their grandmother or aunts, whoever is
and
in the community.
and
So
and,
I
and
can get it from that perspective, but I never thought about how that ever translated to a little boy. And I
Mhm.
guess it's because you never hear about the little boy's perspective. Because the little boy just seemed like he just sees, like, I remember I would sit next to the stove and my mom would have the hot comb. I mean, this is, we talking old school when there was only like two greases on the shelf. It was that Ultra Sheen, the
Mhm.
green, the
Mhm.
green and the blue one.
Ooh,
It was
God, yeah.
bergamot and the other one.
Mm.
But anyway, she put the grease in your hair, she put the hot comb on the fire, and then she
Mhm.
straightened your hair. When you smell that burn smell, I think to some people smelling that burn smell like it's a good familiar feeling, but really it shouldn't be because you're burning your hair.
Yeah.
But I never thought about like the implications of what that could mean for like little boys because I know that for little girls, I know what it means. And actually, I think that it has even gotten worse. I remember I was standing in line at King's Dominion one day, which is an amusement park, and I saw this little girl look like she was about 5 years old. All of her edges were gone.
Mm,
She
mm,
had little tiny micros. That's what micro braids are. Like it was like my hair is right now, but I have locks, so but
mhm.
like it was like this the same size as this. She had that all throughout her hair, and I'm thinking like, I mean, her hair looked real cute. Like that's something I would have got. But
Mhm.
I'm like, her mom didn't even give her a chance to rip her own edges out. She ripped them out for her. That
Oh,
girl
wow.
was missing,
Mm.
like almost mohawked on the sides. I
Yeah.
was like, I just wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think this in and of itself could be an entire show because when we're talking about, the it's sort of the duplicity of it all and the unconscious duplicity, because you'll have you'll have black women with straight hair telling white women that you're trying to get a tan and ass implants so you can be like me. And it's like,
And Botox. I mean, not Botox. What's that? Lip
mhm,
injection.
yeah, the lip injection and everything.
Mhm.
And it's like the white woman could easily turn around, like, look at your hair. What are you talking about? But for
I mean,
them,
it could go both ways with women. I mean, women are always just into looks in anyway, in general.
yeah. I mean, I remember seeing Pam Grier on Saturday Night Live, and it was funny because they showed a picture of her back in the day where she had the huge afro, and they
Hmm.
showed her today, and it was like the whole thing was like, oh, look how young she looks. And it's also like, what the hell happened to her hair? Because, for a lot of white people, they don't understand exactly what happens. They would do just like young
Yeah.
boys and even men do. It's like, oh, it's just there. You never think about it. But it's like, once again, the implication is, for me, it's like the reason why I prefer a woman with natural hair is because I know which side you're on. I know it's, well, not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean everything, but it's like, it's like there is, um there are consequences to what you do. So it's like, yes, it's
Mhm.
going to affect your children in a certain way. If you're sitting there saying you're black and proud, come get your perm done so you can look like this white, that's
I
confusing.
do notice that. I be thinking the same thing. I love going to like the Muslim bakeries, and there's a place called Food for Life out there, and
Hmm.
what is it? Is that Temple Hills or Suitland? Anyway, I like getting that good Muslim food. I do be noticing. I'm like, they wear their hair straight. I'm like, I don't understand that. But I think because it's so deeply embedded
Hmm.
in our culture. And the
And it,
thing is, women need to be and feel accepted, and that is like that is like the main source of exception. Like I said exception, but you know what I'm saying,
mhm,
like
yeah,
being feeling
acceptance.
accepted.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like if you have your eyes are done, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can take them on or put them on, take them off, whatever, your butt job, whatever. But like the hair, it's like it is like the crown, like as you hear. And
Mhm.
so it's really a big deal. And I could tell you a personal story.
Okay.
So I used to back in the day when I was in high school, I went to my prom. My dad got my hair done for me. He paid for it and he took me to this hairdresser. The lady, they were kind of both like, I guess, trying to get something out of me, like as to what do I have a vision? I was like, no, I don't know. Just do anything. So she's like, I'm gonna make you look good, girl. So she started braiding my hair up. She weaved it up. It was so much hair on my head. It just felt like it was pounds of hair on my head. And I just remember feeling like I could not wait to rip it out because my hair was already a decent length anyway. So it's not like I needed that weave, but I guess
Mm,
that's what she had to do to give me an updo, like to
mm,
do special things with it. So after the prom is over, I decided, okay, well, daddy spent $150 because I don't know what weaves cost today, but that's how much it costed back then.
mm,
So I'm like, daddy spent $150 and to get my hair done. I don't want to just take it out immediately. I'll just wear it and then I'll just, cut it out and then that'll be it. Don't you know when I took that weave out my hair and I washed it, I just wore it down straight. I didn't do nothing to it. I just wore it straight because I was like, I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm just wearing it because he paid for it.
mhm,
And I just didn't want to cut what he paid for out after one night. I got so much attention from men.
mm,
I would literally be walking down the street. I got guys calling me from this side, the back, the front, everywhere, from the top, from the
mhm,
bottom. Now we
mhm,
here. And it was just like it was so much attention. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, dang, this is crazy. But guess what happened? And this is what happens to women. That attention turned into me getting free car rides because remember, I'm in high school, free
mhm,
car rides to school or wherever,
mhm.
getting like somebody buy me something from Burger King or McDonald's for lunch. I'm just being real
Wow.
though. When you in
Mhm,
high school, man, that stuff is like, okay, he bought me a hamburger, some fries. Girl, he supersized it. No, but
mhm,
all of that hair, I feel like the hair itself translated into all of this goodness.
mhm,
And so after I took that weave out, I was like addicted. And it makes you feel addicted because now it's like I can't live without it. So when
mm,
I started buying weaves, wigs, I was the weave queen, okay? I was
mm,
wearing them every day, all day. You couldn't tell me nothing. And I mean, they just got longer, they got bigger. It's the same thing with all these other women.
mm,
And
mm,
the men kept coming and kept providing and giving me and give all this attention. And I mean, it's like an exchange. I get a weave and now all of a sudden I get attention. Everyone loves me.
mm,
Guess what happened though? I started noticing that right here on this side, right here, I
mm,
start balding.
mm,
Um, I've because I've had all different kind of methods. So I got balding over here. I started getting a little bit light over here too. I was like, okay, I'm gonna cut this out and that'll be it. I'll be done, right? All right. Cut my hair out, went natural. Guess what? Crickets.
Hmm.
I didn't get no attention after that. Nobody didn't like me. They didn't talk to me. They didn't care about me. It was like I fell off the face of the planet. It's like
Mm.
somebody threw acid on my face. And that kind of stuff, I think to a lot of women, it will change. It will make you feel like, okay, now I'm ugly again. Well, maybe you didn't think you were ugly, but if you did, then it's like I'm back to ugly again. I gotta
Mm.
hurry up and get cute so I
Mhm.
can get this good attention and all this good stuff coming to me. So
Hmm.
I think that comes in a mix a lot of times with women when they are so used to seeing themselves look a certain way and getting a certain level of attention for that. It's very hard. It becomes very addictive and it's hard to stop it.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
have to be
yeah.
very strong and be like, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and get really familiar with that person and what you look like without makeup, without hair, without everything. And you
Mhm.
have to learn to accept and love the person that you see in the mirror. That's very difficult, believe it or not, for women to do.
I can believe it. I mean, there's because it's once again like I was saying, that attention, giving somebody to attend you. That's just a primal need, in terms of matching with somebody.
Hmm.
So um and like I said, it's worldwide. So you have, you look back in the day, women had the wigs that were like Marge Simpson type wigs.
Right.
They're just
Yeah.
huge and tall, and you have,
During
all
like the
types of,
Victorian era.
yeah, just all types of, you just look through hair through history, it's just all types of craziness going on. And I think at the same time, it's like, also the attention that you're getting is sort of like stylized attention. So it's like the men see women having this particular style, and it's like that style represents something. And it's
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, this is the type of woman who, you know, if she's spending $150 to get her weave, blah blah blah, it's like, okay, she has something to her, and maybe it's just a look, maybe it's people's taste, but everybody's taste is influenced by something. I remember back in the day, in the DC area, for whatever reason, all of a sudden this huge flower thing was showing up in all these women's hair, and it wasn't like in any way to me attractive. It was just like, oh wow, a big fake flower, interesting, blue, yellow, all these different colors, and it was like, it was like a symbol. It was like, hey, I'm available, type of symbol. And it was like guys were like, oh, okay, see shorty right over there with the yellow, there's shorty right over the blue. It just represented something. So I think that applies to hair.
Sometimes women just do things that are trending because it's like, well, that's cool. I see her. She's getting attention. I want to get some
Mhm.
attention too. I'm going to go and put a blue flower on since she has a yellow one.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll stand out.
yeah. I mean, but once again, it's like, what is the result that you're looking to get? If you want to get attention from a whole bunch of dudes, then yeah. But at the end of the day, you got to take that flower out. You got to take your weave out at some point. Um, you know, hopefully
That part,
he doesn't see it.
that part,
That part, what
that's
part?
what I'm saying. That part where you got to take all that stuff out.
Hmm.
Whenever I had to take my weaves out, and I would look at myself, I'll just be like, "Oh, you are just so fucking disgusting looking."
Oh, good
That's
God.
the inside voice
Mm,
coming out. I'm telling you, this is
mm,
the inside feeling. And that's what a lot of women feel. When
mm,
they take when women get used to seeing themselves with makeup and hair and all this other fake stuff,
mm,
then they get to the point where they become accustomed to that. They see it in their mind. They see themselves operating in the world in that space with that fake stuff. So taking it off is kind of like that's just something you do when you get home and you got to hurry up and put it back on so you can get back to life again. Until a woman has learned to just, appreciate who she is without
yeah,
that stuff. That I mean, that just
yeah.
you're
I
gonna be
mean,
feeling ugly.
yeah, I mean, I think even for guys, everybody wants to represent themselves in the best fashion possible. I
Mhm.
think though, just getting back to the main topic is like, is it going too far to the point that, men are now like, okay, I can't tell what's real, can't tell what's fake. She's wearing stuff that, it's like,
Men know it's
it,
fake. Well, now because it's gotten
yeah,
crazy.
well, everything, to the cupid pie eyebrows and all this other kind of stuff. It's like you just look at it like, okay. Um,
Stop doing it, ladies. Men don't like it. That's the bottom line of this whole discussion. Men
mhm,
hate it. They
yeah,
hate it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna do something, we get it. Just a little bit of
Yeah.
makeup, little. Not like I'm going to turn into somebody completely different because that's the problem. You are somebody completely different. You go, it's and once again, it's
It
like,
reminds me of that time. Remember when I was at your house that time and I had you looking at one of the Love and Hip Hop shows,
oh yeah, yeah, and
and it was so funny you couldn't keep up with
yeah.
all the women.
They were like, you go from the live scene to the in the confessional box, and it went from like red hair to blonde hair, this type of makeup to that type of makeup, and I'm sitting there like, is this the same person?
Wait, y'all, no, you wasn't saying it all like rational, like you saying it. It wasn't coming. It
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh
wait,
yeah, I was totally confused.
wait, I don't know. Wait, who's all these people? I was like, it's not all these people. It's the same girl.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's the one that had a
Mm-hmm.
but she just had red hair. Yeah, but now she got on yellow hair. You can't tell by her face. She wearing different makeup too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they got a mesh.
They, I mean, she was going for a different look, and she
I was
succeeded highly.
dying because I'm like, in my mind, I'm keeping up with the storyline and it's just effortless, but you were like legit confused.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, I saw this girl from high school, hadn't seen her in years, and she had blonde hair. And it was like I didn't recognize her. It was like she was going for a different look. Congratulations. Good job. I don't recognize you at all. So and it's funny because women would do this thing of like, oh, I got this and what do you think? And they're like, oh, you changed again. That's what I think. I think you changed again. Who are you? I'm getting confused now. So yeah. Yeah,
Man, we might have to have a part two or something like that, to
yep.
dive
Yep.
deeper into this whole thing one of these days.
There we go. So, hey, folks, appreciate you for tuning in. We are reaching the 9 o'clock hour. This is Uncle B and Fee, and we will be
Yes.
back on next Tuesday, 8
But
p.m.
I hope y'all got something out of this. Ladies, stop with all that fakeness because guys don't like it. That's the bottom line here.
We get so confused. Who is you? Who is you? You don't even look like your mama because your mama changed yesterday, too. I couldn't recognize you.
A whole new family of women.
Yeah, whole new family of women. That's insane. So, yes, folks, till next time, y'all be safe and keep your hair something recognizable. Peace out.
Bye.